Go.
All right. Hi, Brightside. This is my extra credit for the commencement address practice. My dad was holding the camera. He's tad bit camera shy.
That's me.
Here's, here's our setup. We got my cat and the spectator, and then my other cat over there. All right. So 18 years, 6,570 days, 156,000 hours, 9.5 million minutes, 568 million seconds. That is the time that has passed for us to get where we are today. Now, I've definitely spent a few million of those seconds procrastinating on doing my homework or debating on studying for the ACT, and that showed through my score. But I want to congratulate us, class of 2022, for making it here today. Whether or not we see the importance in this day, it's one of our first major stepping stones into achieving our goals. I remember just being a little youngin' when I was an elementary school kid, looking at the seniors and being like, man, I want to be just like them. It seems so far away. And then in a blink of an eye, here I am, and here we are. It's crazy how fast time goes. It's honestly a little sad that this is our last day as a class together, but I can't help but feel proud that we all made it here today. I want to talk about one of my favorite middle school memories, as well as the lesson that it taught us. So in middle school, it was time for trends like bottle flipping, fidget spinners, and one of my favorites, eating Tide Pods. I thankfully didn't partake in that one. But in 8th grade, we had the talent show, and there was these kids that were bottle flipping. They had their ladder set up, they had a bunch of boxes, and they tried to keep landing those bottles, and half the time, it didn't land. We were sitting there for at least 2 minutes straight, and they didn't land a single one. And right when we thought all hope was lost, they landed that water bottle. They landed it, and it was just, we all were just like, oh my gosh, we were so hyped, little 8th graders, being happy that they landed the water bottle. But this taught a lot about perseverance, and then despite failing many times, they're able to finally land that bottle. And we've had to persevere a lot as a class in our academic careers, especially with COVID-19. We've had to go online with Zooms and Google Meets, and we had to learn that entire software that we've never used before. We also realized how slow our Chromebooks are at multitasking. Although they weren't meant to do that in the first place, it was a struggle. We had 20 different class schedules that we had per day, and it was just a lot. We even had to quarantine, and we're still doing that now as COVID-19 is still a thing. And we've had to quarantine and fall behind, and we all realized that having a good line of communication with our teachers is super important to staying on track. So with all those, we've been able to adapt and persevere and keep going through it. And we'll continue to persevere in our lives, like with our careers, where maybe we're in the service industry and we're dealing with a bad customer. Maybe they're just unhappy and they're just lashing it out on you. But you just got to realize that they're just having a bad day, and you just kind of got to deal with it and grow from it, and don't let it ruin your day. As well as we'll be all continuing our own education. Whether or not we decide to go to college, every day we'll be learning new things, and we'll try to hear both sides of a story rather than just one. And we'll try to weed through the misinformation. The talent show had a big impact on us, whether or not it was intended, but it told us that we can persevere any obstacles that come our way. And if we can overcome COVID-19, we can overcome anything. I would like to thank our teachers and them being able to help us throughout our education and being able to learn an entirely new way of teaching being online. I bet that was a struggle for a lot of our teachers who may not be so technical and be technologically skilled, but they're able to do it and get through it. And I hope you all have a good next 568 million seconds and so on. I hope your lives are filled with success and growth as an individual. I'd like to leave you all with a quote by Thomas Edison. He said, "Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up." Thank you for having me. Congratulations for graduating, class of 2022.